start by asking you, there's a lot of curiosity and anticipation about your visit here. Indians are excited because they see you as a person of Indian origin who's back, you know, in the land that her parents were born in. What does this trip signify to you? Because you were 2 years old when you were last here. You can't remember anything of that.
So I think it's a couple of things. One is there's always a part of my heart that has been with India, and it's through stories that my parents told and memories and things that I've always wanted to come back here, but now it actually makes good business sense. I look at everything we're doing in South Carolina. We build things, but India is such a natural partner. I would love to see us get more allied with Indian businesses, have them come to South Carolina and start doing business, having South Carolina do more with India, and make sure that we can really create business together. But to be here is very, very special. It's overwhelming, it's emotional to see everything that my parents have talked about, but also to see the opportunities of India right now. Everything that is happening, it's exciting. The energy is good. The productivity possibilities are so good. And the fact that we want South Carolina to be a part of that story is something that I'm very interested in.
You were, of course, born Nimrata Nikki Randhawa. You're now Governor Nikki Haley. In your book, you recount a very extraordinary story that is very telling about how you and your sister are entered in the pageant at the Bamberg school. And there you have to say whether you're black or white, and you're neither. Was this the beginning of a struggle somewhat to fit in? Did you feel that you had to leave, in a sense, or disown the Indian part of your origins to fit into American politics, especially as a Republican governor?
I never did. You know, I'm very, very proud of being the daughter of Indian parents, and I talk about it because it's something that's very special to me. It is who I am. What my mom always said was, you know, as we would come home and complain about how hard it was to be in school or to have challenges, she always said, your job is not to go show them how you're different. Your job is to show them how you're similar. And so whether I was in kindergarten or whether I got into college or my first job or even running for governor, I've always taken those words and shown people how we're similar. There's so much that joins us. There's very few things that divide people, but there's a lot that join people.
How do you tackle the question of faith? You've always said it's very personal, but in your political campaigns, you've always been asked that you were born into the Sikh faith, but you converted to Christianity. Yet when you got married, you had two ceremonies. There was the Sikh ceremony and the Christian ceremony. I've often seen you speaking at gurdwaras in the United States of America. You're going to be going to the Golden Temple. So did you feel that there was a political pressure to, in a sense, distance yourself from the faith you were born into, which is being Sikh?
No, growing up in gurdwaras was very much a part of who I was, and feeling that faith was important. What happened was the fact that I never learned the language. So you
can't speak Punjabi?
I can't speak Punjabi. My parents tried to teach us when we were little, and at that time,
but can you understand it?
Very little.
Your name Nikki means small in Punjabi.
I know what my name means, but other than that, you know, it really was. I grew up, and when I'd sit in a gurdwara, I'd feel the faith. I felt it, but I couldn't understand it. So as I got older, I needed more, and so being able to go into Christianity and really understand and connect, that's where it came from. But I'll never deny the fact that I grew up in the Sikh faith. I'm very proud of that. I know that my humility came from there. I know that what I feel in terms of my belief in God came from there. It's just, you know, Christianity spoke to me at a time where I needed a connection. And so, no, political pressure should never change a person. I am my parents' daughter. I will forever be the one who they showed me that the best way to appreciate God's blessings is to give back. That's what all this is.
But did you feel pressure? Did your family feel pressure? Your brothers, for example, I read, had to cut their hair. Your political opponents once called you a raghead, referring to the turban that your father wears. So how did you deal with all of that?
By telling the truth. I'm very proud of my parents. I'm very proud of all that they did to raise us. And were we different? Yes. But they became successful anyway. And that's really the story of South Carolina and America. Is look, here you have an Indian girl who grew up in a rural town of 2,500 people, the only Indian family that grew up to become governor of a state. Only in America can you say, yes, that can happen. And so while we had our challenges, what I want people to take away is the success story of it all, the opportunities, and the fact that life has changed. Life has changed in South Carolina, it's changed in the country.
So I want to open this up now to talk a little bit about the equation, where it stands between India and the United States of America. You had a chance to meet with Prime Minister Modi when he was in New York. And what did you take away from that meeting? What are your impressions of him? Because it's not always been an easy relationship between Mr. Modi and America. Perhaps the past is finally buried now, but there has been the whole shadow of denying him a visa. So what did you take away from meeting him?
I think that it is an amazing breath of fresh air. The energy and the excitement that I see Prime Minister Modi bringing to India is something that's exciting all Indians in America, and then I can feel it here in the country. The fact that he very much is taking a business sense. He wants to cut red tape, he wants to cut corruption, but he also understands the importance that business plays in changing policy. It's really an amazing time. He's very focused. I was extremely impressed at what he's going to do, and I think this is really the time of very exciting change for India.